Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Alicia. Today I'm doing my first ever glam tutorial. Y'all see my glam bag. Just gonna go over what's in it, nothing over the top. So stick with me to the end and you're gonna like how you look, I promise you. So first things first, I wanna go in with my lashes. I did my brows off camera and my lashes too because I don't want this movie video to be too long. You can watch those videos in my playlist. It's called Alicia's Beauty School. And so all of my DIY and beauty reviews go there. But I would say there is no glam look without lashes. There's no life without lashes. Okay, maybe that's too dramatic, but let's be for real. No bald eyes, no glam. Like, just get the lashes. Don't debate with me. Get the lashes. I'm actually using the Lily Faux Mink lashes. And I actually love starting with the lashes because it helps me see how dramatic my look will be. And can I just say, I honestly feel so lucky living on the East Coast now because they have real beauty supply stores everywhere. I just moved to the East Coast from Hawaii, and if you know, you know. So I realized I didn't have any glue, and you can see how happy I am. I got my glue, I got my lashes on. Voila, baby, I'm in there. Next, I'm going to prep my skin. I'm using the Milani No Pore Zone Primer just because I want to reduce my pores and keep my makeup matte. If you didn't know, matte products are really important for us oily skin girlies. And I just want to apply it all over my face where my pores are the largest. And I want to make sure everything is smooth before I go in with my foundation. Take these little things off my eyes. I no longer need them. I don't need it. You know, my Chanel bags have a mind of their own. Now I'm going to go into my foundation. So I go in with my Dior foundation in the color 5W, and I blend it out using my brush. That is actually my favorite brush, y'all. So I'll tell y'all it's number 134 by It Cosmetics. You can only get it at Ulta. You can only get Dior makeup at Sephora. And so yeah, I gatekeep that because every time I go, it's sold out. Every time. So the last time I went, I got 2 brushes so I can have one for later on. But it's one of the hottest brushes. Like, they're never in stock. Never. So if you don't do anything, keep this to yourself, okay? Because this is the brush you need. I use this brush to blend out foundation, to blend out concealer. It's the perfect brush. Like, if you ask me what I want for my birthday, for Christmas, for any gift giving to me, period, give me this brush. I'll take 14 of them, okay? As many as I can get. That is the brush. I think it is like $30 a brush though. But yeah, you can find some dupes on Amazon, but if you want the real thing, you gotta do it. Now you can do two rounds of the foundation, but I'm not doing that. I like my base, it's okay. So now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'm using Too Faced Color Maple, and you're gonna apply this twice. I start off here in the corner of my eye down to the nape of my nose, and I do that on both sides. I don't really need a lot. Concealer does go a long way, so I just put enough so that I can blend it out. I do my straight line under my eye, right above my cheek, just because that area is where I want to have the most coverage. And I just apply it like that. I will say I had the trial size of this and I loved it, so I got the bigger size. I never buy the full size anything until I know I like the product. This is one of the best concealers I've ever used, like ever. I don't gas products up. I don't see the point, but this is really good. I also use Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation, concealer. So that's not in the video, obviously, but I just thought to mention it because, you may want to know. Maybe you don't want to use this as your concealer. So you have other options. In the Sephora one, I use the color 31Y. So yeah, as you see, I put it under my eyes, a little bit on my lip, a little bit in my chin. I do around my mouth because it is a darker region, and I like to have that area be just as even as my skin tone overall. Even though it's glam, I still want to look, you know, very well balanced. Now put a little bit right there on my face, and I am just going to let it sit for a second. Not too long though. You don't want to have clay stuck to your face. While I'm waiting for that, I go in with my eyeshadow. So I have bigger eyes, a lot of real estate, so I go in with my dark brown. I usually do a shimmery pink, but because this is like a soft glam, I want to do a neutral color. So I do on the outer area like a darker brown, matte brown. Then I go in with my shimmer for my inner eye. So as I said, I have bigger eyes, so I have a lot of shadow to put there. And I like to experiment with like colors. I can do 2 or more colors, different things. You see that shimmer is so pretty. I put the shimmer over my eye, just on the inner. And then it's like a balance, y'all. You see it. Gagged. So I'm done with that Ellen Tracy palette. Now I move on to blending. I use my concealer brush. Y'all know the one is listed in my description. So I just blend, blend, blend. You want to make sure you're pressing the product into your skin. Just push it, push it, push it into your skin. And you do it all around. You can use as much of this as you want. Y'all saw how much I used. And then I'm going to go in with my Rare Beauty. It's the bronzer that I use to contour with. So I do it underneath the apple of my cheek. So smiling kind of helps you. You can see the line there. I do it on both sides. Then I go down by my chin and my jawline, and I want to, you know, snatch that area too. I'm trying to show y'all. It's not easy to like show y'all and do it at the same time. But there we go. Then I do my nose. Anytime I get my makeup done professionally, they always say, why do you want to contour your nose? But I'm like, girl, because I do. Like, I want everything to look snatched. Like, give me that Michael Jackson nose. And then they just laugh, but they do it anyway. And then I do my forehead. Something I learned too is when I go to makeup artists, I have them do half of my face, and then I'll do the other half just so I can learn while I'm there with them. If that's something that a makeup artist in your area offers, I highly suggest you take her up on that offer, because you might like it. And it's easier if you learn, like I learned by doing. So to learn how to do makeup, I just started doing it. I just picked it up one day and was like, you know what? I want to know how to do my makeup. Like, I get tired of being the one when we go out, you know, lip gloss and lip gloss and mascara. I was like, I'm tired of looking cutesy. I want to look like, you know, flawless. Like, I want to feel like I'm going to a magazine or a photo shoot or something. So yeah, I started getting into my makeup. And I fell in love with it. And now it was so hard for me to find out how to do it. I was like, I just want to show other people how to do it, because it shouldn't be this hard. Like, people gatekeep it, or if I do follow somebody, it's like a million steps. It's not that hard. It's really not. Just get to the point. And then I brush out my bronzer. You see me, the hand movements that I'm making, I'm just swiping down, bringing my concealer down into my face. You can go up if you want to. I just happen to like going down. And I do both sides, and I just keep blending it. And I'm using the Japanese contour brush. So it is one of my faves. It's already at an angle, so I don't have to work like too hard. But I do just have to hold it a certain way to achieve the look I want. Then I do the bottom, brush it against the way that I set it. So if you draw it going down from left to right, then you will brush it backwards, like from right to left. So whatever direction you did it in, you would just go back the opposite way to blend it in. You see how that is? Flawless, flawless. If you need to go back and watch stuff over, I would recommend you do that. But yeah, this is how I do it. This is what works for me when it comes to contouring. And this is all that I want to contour. So some people go more in depth, but this is, again, Alicia's beauty school and the way I do makeup. So yeah. And I just go back and forth, back and forth, pushing the product. I'm pushing it and I'm dragging it back and forth. So I have a nice little, you know, not, I was gonna say a demarcation line, but I don't have that, but I have a nice little contour going on. So you just want to make sure you keep doing that. Okay, so do you see it now? Like on both sides, you see how even it looks? It's not too much, but it's just like, you know, I slightly contoured it, and I'm being over dramatic. Like, y'all see how how I am. I'm saying, don't play with me ever. Now we're going into the blush. So I use my Patrick Ta. She goes to the gym. This is the cream blush. I just, you know, put it on my finger, and then I do right on my apples of my cheeks, 3 lines going back. You know, you don't want to have anything lower than that. So Patrick Ta has the cream and the powder blush, so you can, you know, choose which one you want. But that is what I do. And then I just take my e.l.f. blush brush, and it is already at an angle again, so I just, you know, go upwards. Just take it and go upward. I was gonna say upwards. Upwards, brush it up against my face. And if I want, I can do it twice or 3 times even, just to see the blush if I want it super rosy. But I think I'm just gonna leave it like this because the concealer is already light and I don't want to be too red. I'm just so proud, y'all. Like, my makeup has come a long way. Like, that's cute. She's cute. Ow, she's cute. I'm watching Sex and the City too, so one of my little laughable scenes just happened. And then I go into my sorry y'all, I get into the setting powder. So I'm using my translucent pink. So this is by Revolution, and I only use this under my eyes. I blew it into my camera. Like, I don't know why I did that. And then it got into my face, and I'm like, I really regretted doing that. So that's why I don't have audio on here, because it was a lot of bloopers. But then I just press it into my eye like so. I do have to like open my eyes wide, make all these strange faces, because I want to make sure it's pressed in there, and I don't want to have any creases under my eye. So this part is really important. And I do the other eye. Y'all, I'm just like, I love being able to do my own makeup now. So it's just like, oh my god. And then not even a basic makeup look, like a glam look. Like, what? Who even am I? Me just a few years ago, could not do it. And now look at me. So if you want to learn how to do makeup, you definitely can. Just keep practicing. It's not that hard. Well, it won't be that hard in the end. And I just put more powder, press it into my eyes like you see me doing. I definitely want to make sure that is, you know, going to stay while I bake for a while. Just let it sit. And I'm basically telling y'all, we don't need to spray. At least I don't. I don't spray in between because my skin is oily. I only spray at the end because, you know, I don't need as much hydration because my skin is oily. It's going to produce it on its own. But what I do need is to add my finishing powder. So I've learned from blowing it into the camera. Now I do it on the side. And I just swipe it underneath the apples of my cheeks. And oh, I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent honey powder. That works well with my skin tone. And I do it on both sides. And I just brush it back. Y'all, that show is so funny. Like, it's so funny. They say some of the most outrageous things on there. Like, my friend watches that show, and she always makes references to stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so we agreed she would watch Girlfriends for the first time if I watched Sex and the City for the first time. So yeah, it's a fair exchange. And it is funny. I know she's laughing watching Girlfriends because, you know, Girlfriends is one of those shows. But yeah. And I also added on my forehead too. So I just press it in. Again, y'all can stop and go back and rewatch things, but I'm pretty sure if you're at this part, you got it. So last thing, I want to go in with my brush. This is how you remove the powder. So you want to go in and flick it hard, like flick it away from your face. You see that the motions that I'm doing? You want to go in and flick it away from your face because you want to get that powder off of you. Now it can stay and cake up and you'll get that really cakey look. So yeah, after you bake for like 5 minutes, you can bake longer. I only do 5 minutes. I brush that stuff off. Like, I'm not trying to bake a cake. I just want to bake my face. And you keep flicking the excess powder off under your eyes first, because that's what we set first, and then the powder everywhere else, the finishing powder, I flick it off. And then I went back to my regular light so you guys can see, and then I bring it all together with my spray. And I have a fan. I actually got this fan in Japan when I went a few years ago for my birthday. It smells, it's a scented perfume fan. Y'all gotta get one. It smells amazing. Then I go in with my matte terracotta Sephora lip liner. I line my lips slowly, so you see how I go, like step by step. Like, don't draw it all at once. Just go little by little. That's the best way to line your lips. And you're not in a rush to do your makeup. And if you are, too bad. But you want to make sure you have time. So I put on my lips Pink in the Afternoon, which is by Revlon. That's a really cute color. That pink looks good on everyone. And I add a little more lip liner because I feel like I didn't line my lips perfectly, but you know, they're okay. I try to overline my top lip because my bottom lip is larger, but this time I was like, you know what, it's cool. They'll just look how they look. It'll be cute either way. But I usually overline it, but it's like it's only so much overlining can do. So yeah, I always debate on whether or not I want to get filler in my top lip, and I think I would at some point, but for now it's cool. I just overline it and add a little bit more liner and lipstick there too. So over my Revlon 415 Pink in the Afternoon, I use the NYX Butter Gloss over top just to give it a little bit of shine. And I like the way that that looks. It's really pretty. And a trick that my makeup artist taught me, you stick your finger in your mouth and pull it out so that you can see. And this is the final look. Oh, it's so you don't get makeup on your teeth. Sorry. Bye, y'all.